Coming up in this video, I'm taking you with me out of Kennedy Airport in New York City. We'll head to a new Delta Sky Club in Terminal 4, then head on over to brand new gates in the A concourse. From there, it's a short taxi over to runway 31 left for our WAVEY departure to Florida. I'll provide air traffic control and detailed descriptions on the how and why, and it all starts right now. My eyes are glued outside my ride to JFK so I can spot the control tower, which will eventually be giving my flight clearance for takeoff on runway 31 left. And it's always a thrill to approach the terminal area from the JFK Expressway. This is a massive airport, and it's fun to find your way to your terminal. I could be flying on Emirates first class to Dubai or take flight aboard a brand new A350. Sure, I could, but today, let's focus on what all of these flights have in common. I'm excited about my departure off of runway 31 left today. No matter where you're going, all planes will be taking off on runway 31 left under the control of someone up there, and that's what this channel is all about. So let's head into JFK's Terminal 4 for my Delta Connection flight to Jacksonville. Well, I almost walked into the wrong check-in spot at Terminal 4. Up ahead, you can see the private area that Delta has been using for many years for their Sky Priority customers like me. It's been changed to a Delta One check-in area instead. My CRJ 900 doesn't even have a Delta One cabin, so I found and waited in the new Sky Priority check-in area to check my bag. It's for Sky Priority customers, but it's in the standard rows of check-in lanes at this terminal. After checking my bag, it was off to TSA. Okay, I just completed TSA here at T4, and I'm going to head over to the Delta Sky Club Express today. It's new. Just to the right of TSA on the balcony level is a new Sky Club tucked away above the busy shopping area below that most of the passengers experience before their flights. It's a very small Sky Club designed for passengers who will be leaving from the newly opened A gates. Since the closure of Terminal 2, all Delta flights leave from Terminal 4, and this space accommodates the extra passengers. This is a very nice and cozy space. This is a basic Sky Club with no view out the window, and it serves its purpose. I found that it was very quiet with plenty of choices for seating, and that's definitely a benefit. But even more than this new Sky Club, I'm interested in the new gates for Delta that were built at the end of the A concourse of this terminal. So after filling up because of a lack of a full meal on my upcoming flight, I headed out of the Sky Club to the balcony level. That was a great Sky Club experience. It was small, intimate, very fast, very good service. I enjoyed it. And to my delight, I saw a sign with an image of the new gates. Let's head over in that direction. To get there, I need to head on down to the mall level, an area that was once open to the public, but is now post-TSA. Since we're on the security level, all departing passengers need to descend to the gate level by stairs or elevator. As I got off the elevator, I paused for a close-up moment with the tower. Eventually, someone up there is going to give us takeoff clearance today. I'm actually really excited about departing from one of the brand new gates here at Terminal 4 today. So I'm headed in the direction of the A gates, and previously the A gates were only used by international carriers, so I kind of feel like I'm leaving the country today, but I'm only going to Jacksonville. And this is what I mean by international. This Copa Airlines 737 is headed to Panama City soon, and behind it, that Kenya Airways Dreamliner is about to depart for Nairobi. This is truly an airport for the world. You can see the new gates that Delta uses at the end of the concourse. I want to be there, so let's head on over to the newly extended concourse which houses gates A2 to A21. After the mall, you'll need to turn right onto the finger. This finger is a lot shorter than the B concourse on the other side. The B concourse is very long, and it can take quite some time to get to the very end, as you can see here. I've done it many times. The A concourse is much easier to walk through, and the last gates are only a short distance from the TSA checkpoint. Let's take it to the end. Today I'm on flight 4819 to Jacksonville. The new gates are labeled A9 to A21 and are on the lower level. Basically, the gatehouse is a large space with many gates on all sides. Unfortunately, I was not able to see my aircraft from down there. My gate is A19 and the flight is now boarding, so come with me as we get closer to runway 31 left today. welcome aboard the CRJ 900 operated by Endeavor Air. I've strategically chosen a seat on the left side of the plane today since we'll not only be making a left turn after takeoff, but we'll continue our left turn and head east, providing for some great views of JFK Airport. This video is about WAVEY, and my seat is chosen because of it. What's WAVEY? Well, WAVEY is the first fix in the sky that we need to fly over before we proceed on course south toward Florida. WAVEY is located south of the South Shore of Long Island and southeast of JFK. It's physically over the Atlantic Ocean, which is perhaps the reason why it's named WAVEY. After flying the published climb-out from runway 31 left, the departure controller will provide radar vectors to us and have us proceed to WAVEY when the airspace allows it to do so. It's time for us to start our push back onto the ramp here at Terminal 4 under the control of the ramp controller. There are a lot of Delta connection planes here that are going to destinations primarily on the eastern part of the USA. Once we reach the end of the Terminal 4 ramp, we contact the Kennedy ground controller for taxi instructions to runway 31 left.
Kennedy ground, Endeavor 4819, India, coming out of Golf.
Last call, say again?
Endeavor 4819, has information, India, Golf, taxi.
Endeavor 4819, Kennedy ground, runway 31 left, taxi, Golf, Zulu, cross runway 22 right, and stay with me.
All right, that's runway 31 left, Golf, Zulu, cross 22 right, Endeavor 4819.
We called the ground controller, informing her that we listened to the latest airport information labeled India and that we were coming out of the ramp on taxiway Golf. The controller, who had asked our pilot to repeat his initial call, told us that we could taxi to runway 31 left via taxiways Golf and Zulu. This path involves us crossing runway 22 right, and she told us that we can cross this runway. So we actually received very simple and non-stop taxi instructions to runway 31 left. We'll be using the full length of runway 31 left today, as it's the only departure runway in use. Arrivals are landing on the parallel runway 31 right, and on occasion, some arrivals will land on runway 31 left. With gusty wind from the west, this is an ideal configuration for the airport today. Sometimes runway 31 left will utilize for some departures from an intersecting taxiway, but that's generally the case when the perpendicular runways, the 4s and 22s, are in use. Today, everyone is landing and departing to the northwest. In terms of ATC, for us, there are no further taxi instructions, so I'll have you listen into the controller talk to other aircraft on this frequency. She's working out the departures, arrivals, and aircraft under tug.
Kennedy ground, Delta Tug 5 to Quebec 2, requesting hotel.
Delta Tug 5, Kennedy ground, proceed Quebec, hold Sugar Papa Foxtrot.
Sugar Papa Foxtrot, Delta Tug 5.
Delta Tug 9, on Papa, hold Sugar Papa Foxtrot.
Papa, hold Sugar Papa Foxtrot, Delta Tug 9.
Ground, Endeavor 4632, Golf, short Alpha.
Endeavor 4632, Kennedy ground, runway 31 left, taxi via Golf, Zulu, cross runway 22 right.
Golf, Zulu, cross 22 right, Endeavor 4632.
Ground American 2557, Sierra with hotel.
American 2557, Kennedy ground, runway 31 left, taxi left on Bravo, hold short of Kilo.
Bravo short of Kilo, American 2557.
Endeavor 5197, Kennedy ground, runway 31 left, taxi left on Bravo and hold short of Hotel.
Bravo short of Hotel.
Ground, Delta 379 Heavy, right behind those guys on Hotel Bravo, and we have India.
Delta 379 Heavy, Kennedy ground, runway 31 left.
She's quite busy, having controlled aircraft under tug, aircraft that follow the same route as us to the runway, and aircraft that came from different terminals that need to go to runway 31 left. We're approaching runway 31 left, and it's now time for the controller to have us monitor the control tower frequency that's responsible for runway 31 left.
Endeavor 4819, continue straight ahead Zulu, monitor tower 123.9.
Straight ahead on Zulu, 123.9 there, 4819.
All we need to do now is wait for the tower to tell us to line up and wait on the runway. We're making really good time today. There were hardly any planes ahead of us, and the majority of the arriving flights came in on the parallel runway 31 right. This led to a speedy operation, and the weather is very good too. In the control tower, there were actually two tower controllers, one for us on runway 31 left, and the other for flights like this one coming into runway 31 right. We're only listening to the tower frequency for our runway, and we're specifically waiting for clearance to line up and wait on runway 31 left. And it's coming soon. And we'll take off right away because behind us, approach control has set up a plane to land on our runway, and the controller in the tower will push us out in front of that plane.
4819 Kennedy Tower, 31 left, line up and wait. Inbound traffic's on a 6 mile funnel.
31 left, line up and wait. There, 4819, we're ready.
Departure Skywest 3566, 2.3, climbing 5,000. Score 5, Ranger transition.
Skywest 3566, you're still on the tower, departure 359.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we're lining up with the runway, and the pilot let the controller know that we're ready for takeoff. There's traffic on a 6-mile final behind us, and the plane in front of us was supposed to contact the departure controller but forgot to change frequencies. No worries. I have to add that we're very fortunate that we're getting out before the arrival coming into our runway is going to land. The timing was just right for us today. The traffic on a 6-mile final has progressed closer to us, so it's now time for the tower to issue our flight clearance for takeoff. We'll move without stopping on the runway.
Number 4819, 127014, gust 19, inbound traffic's on a 3.5 mile final, runway 31 left, over takeoff.
31 left, over takeoff, and there, 4819.
And number 4635, left turn Ranger transition, contact New York departure.
Left turn Ranger transition over to departure. So long, number 4635.
As we start our takeoff roll, the previous departure was told to contact the departure controller and then fly the Ranger transition after takeoff. The Ranger transition is to the southwest. We'll also be told to fly a specific transition when we're airborne, the Yankee transition. The Yankee transition is part of the Score 5 RNAV departure procedure from JFK. In it, after takeoff, all planes turn to the left heading 238 degrees to a fix called Score, which is near Canarsie. This roughly follows the Belt Parkway. After Score, we turn further left towards a fix called Cessid and then Yankee. That's for flights headed to the southeast, like us, because we'll be flying to our gateway out of the New York City area, WAVEY. We're about to rotate on this runway that's 14,511 feet long. As we take off, the tower tells our flight about a helicopter that will remain north of us at all times, and then we should fly the Yankee transition, then contact the departure controller.
4819, helicopter traffic opposite direction, inbound to Kennedy, going to be north and east of coast at all times. Yankee transition, contact departure.
Our pilot actually does not respond right away, so the tower checks back in with us to make sure he heard what he said.
Endeavor 4819.
Okay, over to departure, Endeavor 4819.
Did you copy the helicopter traffic I told us?
Affirmative, Endeavor 4819.
Okay, contact departure.
Departure.
We are now climbing out off of runway 31 left and are about to start a left-hand turn to 238 degrees to Score. As we climb, we get a great view of Jamaica Bay. Let's check in with the departure controller, who's physically located in Long Island.
Departure, Endeavor 4819 is 2,000, climbing 5,000, Score 5, Yankee transition.
Endeavor 4819 here, departure radar contact, climb maintain 12,000.
Climbing maintain 12,000, Endeavor 4819.
We indicated that we're on the Score departure with the Yankee transition. This documented procedure has us climb to 5,000 feet, but the controller cleared us to 12,000 feet, the next safest altitude before conflicts with traffic at 13,000 feet will begin. One of the great things about being on this side of the plane is the look back at the runway we just took off from. I'll have more great views from this side, and I'm so glad I chose this seat. And I love the view of Jamaica Bay. Jamaica Bay is actually an estuary with many marshy islands. It touches Brooklyn, Queens, and Nassau County, and its north side is bounded by the runway we just took off from. Many people don't realize that Jamaica Bay is actually part of New York City, and after having driven through a very, very large, dense area to the airport, once you take off, all of a sudden you're in a marshy wetland. ATC sees that traffic is light and issues us a turn to the left.
Endeavor 4819, turn left heading 110.
Left turn 110, Endeavor 4819.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, we were supposed to fly to Score, then Cessid, then Yankee, but the controller has decided that following this procedure is not necessary, and since we eventually do need to head towards the west, he told us to turn left to a heading of 110. So we're done with following the published climb and are relying on radar vectors from the controller to bring us toward WAVEY, our departure fix, before we proceed on course for the en route phase of flight. The 110-degree heading brings us more towards WAVEY and allows me, a passenger on the left side of the plane, to bring some great views to you. There's something special about seeing the airport that you just took off from in its entire form. When we depart an airport, we're so focused on the path we take from the vehicle to the gate, and this view shows you how complex the airport really is. Since we took off, an airplane has landed on the runway we took off on, and another plane is taking off after that one. There's so much going on down there. I'm going to zoom the camera out to show you the neighborhood of Broad Channel. It's the only inhabited island in Jamaica Bay and runs a length of around 20 city blocks. With the wing dipping, let's zoom back into JFK. Here we can see the next departure, a Japan Air 777 bound for Tokyo. But for us, we need to focus on getting to WAVEY. If you were at JFK Airport and proceeded on a heading of 156 degrees for around 29 miles, well, that's where WAVEY is. It's over the wavy waters of the Atlantic Ocean. It may seem strange that we're headed east since Florida's to the south, but we will eventually head south, and heading east keeps us away from southern-bound flights from airports like LaGuardia or Westchester County Airport. We're flying in very complex airspace, and flying away from the major New York City area airports gives us more space to go where we need to go for now. That's the Japan Air 777 doing what we just did. That plane is about to make a left-hand turn just like we did, but will fly a different route to the east, then north to get to its first departure fix. That plane's pilot is about to check in with departure control.
New York departure, Japan Air 5, leaving 1,100 for 5,000.
Japan Air 5, heavy New York departure, radar contact, climb, maintain 17,000.
17,000, Japan Air 5.
It's now time for us to be cleared to proceed directly to WAVEY. This will require a right turn to the southeast. We're also leaving the controller's airspace, so he'll have us switch to the New York Air Route Traffic Control Center, a high-altitude air traffic facility also located on Long Island.
Denver 4819, turn right, proceed direct WAVEY, contact New York Center 128.3.
Right turn direct WAVEY and 128.3 in there. 4819.
We're leaving the South Shore beaches of Nassau County behind us as we proceed to WAVEY. And that's it for ATC for this video, as I don't have the audio for the New York Center frequency. We're headed out over the ocean and we'll be paralleling the Jersey Shore on the right side of the plane, so we'll be over water for the rest of the climb and the beginning portion of the en route phase of flight as we fly along the first jet routes to get down south. In the inlet below, the Jones Inlet, you can see an arrival to JFK. This airplane is at a low altitude and we're quite high up at a safe distance above it. And from up here we have a great view of Jones Beach, which is part of Jones Beach State Park and is on a barrier island. As we continue out over the ocean, you can see another arrival to JFK. Remember that JFK is using both runways 31 right and 31 left for arrivals, so if you think these planes are rather close, remember that they could be going to two different runways. Looking out further, we can see that Long Island is indeed long. It stretches 118 miles and is the 18th most populous island in the world. After leaving this area, there's not much to see from the left side of the plane, just water and sky. While boarding, I was able to get a CRJ 900 card from the flight deck crew, and it provided some nice information about the aircraft, so I took a look at it at this point in flight. After flying by New Jersey, the left side of the plane provided the first sights of land since Long Island. We're now in Maryland, and the next place I was able to identify from up here is Chincoteague. We're finally headed further inland around the Norfolk, Virginia area. And of course, I'm always looking out for flights in the same airspace that my flight is in, and I came across this JetBlue A321 out of Orlando headed to the northeast. This is a busy flight corridor. Up next, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a city of 35,000 and named for a local wax myrtle shrub. Of course, I immediately spotted the Myrtle Beach International Airport and its single runway of 9,500 feet. Knowing that Spirit Airlines services up to 14 cities from here, I tried to spot some bright yellow Airbus aircraft on the ground, but I didn't see any. Just past Myrtle Beach, my row in the back of the plane was served a snack. The meal service nearly distracted me from seeing Charleston, South Carolina below. Charleston has a population of 150,000. Founded in 1670, this is a popular destination for tourists with its cobblestone streets and antebellum houses. Past Charleston is Fripp Island, named after British Captain Johannes Fripp, who protected the Carolina colony from Spanish attacks. That was followed by Hilton Head Island, a popular resort town named after William Hilton Jr., a British explorer of the Carolina coastline in the 1600s. As we descend to Jacksonville, we head out over the water for a bit before turning right back towards the land. The cut that you see here is the border between Georgia on the bottom of the screen and Florida is on the other side. From there, we turn to the south for a good view of Amelia Island. Under the control of Jacksonville Approach, we're being set up for left traffic to runway 8, and who doesn't love being on the left side of the airplane when it's all left turns to get to the airport? That means we get to see the airport before we land. Cue the landing music. All right, we've made it to the Jacksonville International Airport. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on that trip from JFK to JAX. I really enjoyed sharing that wavy departure with you. Remember that if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I invite you to subscribe. You'll be alerted as to the next time I post a great video like this, and rest assured, I'll have many more. Thanks everybody, and see you all very soon.